press represented here to the larger population of the Kumasi metropolis and specifically to the Kejetia Market Traders Association. This morning, our friends and colleagues who are stakeholders had a press conference and addressed issues, or they brought up issues that they think that management and the board needs to respond to. Some of these issues, I'll mention them briefly. They indicated that the public address system serving Kejetia Market is not functioning, and management and the board has not responded to them. That the lifts, that the excavators in the market are also not working. They raised those issues. They spoke about cooking and then the gas flow to serve the needs of our tenants. Then also, leaking roofs was a matter that came up in their press release. Then choked drains. Last but not the least, prior to that, then they spoke about access routes and dead parts of the market. And then the issue about extractors not functioning, billing, and then metering was the last of the matters raised by our most important and colleagues, stakeholders, the Market Traders Association, different groups representing. We have that's the 11-member steering committee of the Central Market and the concerned Central Market Traders Association, including the Kejetia Petty Traders Association, Franco's Enterprise Limited, Kejetia Traditional Traders Association, and then Kejetia United Traders. So you could see that it's an amalgamation of almost all interested parties. Some of the issues raised are factual and they are being dealt with as captured. Some have been dealt with. So let me talk about those that have been dealt with. As we speak now, the lifts are working. The lifts are working. And I repeat, the lifts are working. So from here you can go and test them yourself. Get into them and you can verify whether the lifts are working. We have informed them that the lifts are working. So the lifts are there. They are available for anybody who wants to use. We only advise them at a meeting with them that the lifts, if we are to use them for any other person that goes in, then we are going to run very huge bills in terms of energy, power usage. And so we advise that its usage is limited to the invalid, the physically challenged, and then for the movement of goods specifically so. Otherwise, there are over 10,000 traders, if they are to use the lifts in a day, you and I can quantify the bill that will come to us to pay, and there will be the same people who will come complaining that the bills are too many. Now the extractors are the terminals. They are also working. The extractors are working. They are functional. We can go and test them for you to see, and you realize that they are working. You see, you don't turn on the extractor when there's no need to turn on the extractor. When there's a need to turn on the extractor, we turn on the extractor. When the fumes have accumulated over the place and you need to turn on the extractor, that's why the extractor is there. You turn it on, it takes away the fumes, and everybody is okay. Talking about issues like the gas, the usage of the gas for the shops, that's for the restaurants. As we speak, there was a challenge, yes, which has to do with the VAB. The VAB is in. The VAB came in on Saturday. Yesterday we met with the contractor and then the project consultants, and they came to inform us that the VABs are in. We were expecting that even today we would have started deploying the VABs. But because of one or two issues, I think requisition, you need to go through the process of picking it from the store, among others. And so before the end of this week, today is Wednesday, between tomorrow and Friday, and then Saturday, the valves would be installed. And then we'll test run it for about a week. after which all individual cylinders which are in the market will be redrawn. And then what was projected and programmed for the market to receive as the means of getting fire for cook would have been activated. And so that is also being addressed. And hopefully by Monday, Tuesday, would have been test running it for some few days. But exactly a week today, a week tomorrow, pushing it to the end of the week of next week, we'll have the operation of the gas system for our restaurants to cook from, bearing any other challenge. Now, we want to talk about the drains. Now, when it starts raining anywhere in a part of the world, we have this challenge of because we all dump our refuses into the drains, which we are not supposed to do. And so it runs upstream. It isn't an issue that was generated or has been generated at Kejetia Market here. And the press, you are here, you bear me out. It's running from upstream. And so the KMA, we know, have put in a program to desearch the drains to ensure that the waters will flow. In fact, if you go around the Kejetia Market, our drains are free. 2 weeks ago, we did very major work with the fire service. We brought them in and we flushed out our system. It's never happened here before. It was the first time. And we've rolled out a program that monthly, we're going to flush the system, whether it's raining or it's dry season, so that wherever chokes are, surts are, they will be pushed out. This is a program management has rolled out. And the fire service just working behind us here. If you go, they will bear us out. But these are regular programs that will flow through. And then I'll move on to the issue of the dead areas and then access to some parts of the market. Indeed, what they captured in there is true. To speak to the fact that, the market was designed in a certain way. To alter it will require technical arrangement, sort of. And it will also require some time. Even if we agree that new routes need to be created there, it will require some time. The contract for this building, it was an international contract. It went through parliamentary approval. And so you cannot just stand up one day and then decide to alter things. If you need further changes in going for extending them or asking for more funds, you need to go through the same process. You need to justify to our parliamentarians, our reps, at that level that, okay, we did this to this point. We think that per design we've completed, but then we've seen that there's a challenge, and we need to address the challenge. And so ABCD as routes opening needs to be done. But it isn't just a cut and paste issue. And so we'll ask our colleagues to be a little bit patient. We've told them we are working on it. There are 2 issues involved there. They asked about roller openings. Those ones, we've worked on them. Those ones, we prepared the documentation. We've sent them. They are here. The evidences of it thereof are here. We've sent them to the board. Contractor has been picked. It's a matter of approval. The approval process will also have to be met. If you rush it, you create a problem. Because processes are most important. So that tomorrow, if you should have anybody coming to question you about it, you can say, I met what I'm supposed to meet, and it is in order. Please, again, I'll plead with them. We know there are challenges there. We are trying to solve it by, this is one aspect of it. The other aspect of it is to get high demanding goods positioned on those areas which are supposedly dead, so that people patronize those goods. As they patronize them, they will attract the patronage also of our colleagues who are already stationed and selling in those areas. That's how management wants to address that. They're talking about the almighty metering and billing. When this market was built, there was only 1 meter. Everybody has acknowledged. But provisions were made for each shop to have its own meter. Then the authorities could not get us 7,000 meters at a go. You and I know that in this country, if you're looking for 1 meter for your house, you know what you go through. So what about 7,000 to 8,000 meters? We've gone through the process of getting baits We've gone through the process of analyzing these bills. They've been given to the ECG. They've tested the meters. They've given us their reports and recommendations, and we have completed the process. It's left with just awarding the contract to the contractor who will come and do this job. And we've promised them. It's not just going to be talk. The action of it is that before the end of this year, each shop in Kejetia Market, a local shop, will have its own meter. We are putting our credibility on the line. We are ready to do that. In fact, it is our expectation that by the end of April, the contract would have been signed, and whoever is supposed to start work would begin to work. They've told us it will take them about 6 months to complete this work. So if push comes to shove, by the end of the year, we would have had metering for every shop, and we would have taken this trouble away. But prior to that, we need to pay our service charges. We need to pay. Even while the contract had been given out, we still have electricity to use, isn't it so? And so we'll have to pay the bills. Our colleagues are saying the bills are just too much, and that management is taking undue advantage of them and charging figures that are strange to them. So I'll take you through an electric or a service charge for the minimum user. Points, common points, usage is 12 cedis, 93 pesos per month. That is a unit per point. 12 cedis, 93 pesos. Security is 15 cedis, 73 pesos a month. Garbage, 5 cedis, 83 pesos. Each figure mentioned is per month. Fumigation is 2 cedis, 58 pesos a month. It may sound unbelievable in your ears, but that is the fact. 2 cedis, 58 pesos. Last but not the least, cleaning, 29 cedis, 25 pesos. Put together, for what we call a service charge, the average tenants at Kejetia Market here should pay 66 cedis, 32 pesos. If you have extra bulb or tube in your shop, you need to pay an additional unit. And so depending on the items you are using, as we have in our homes, and in every other aspect of our lives where we use electricity, what you pay, what you use, you pay. If you are using high-consuming gadgets at home, like air conditioners, the person using a ceiling fan will not bear the same cost as you would have, isn't it so? That is it. And so it isn't as if we are billing them in excess. I've told you the figures. If your electric bill for a common area usage of power or one tube in your shop is 12 cedis, 93 pesos a month, I don't think this is so outrageous, for which our brothers will be so much agitated and will not give us the space and time to finish with what we are doing. They will get their meters. But after getting their meters, there will be the need to continue to pay some of these bills. Because the fumigation will still continue to be there. The garbage will still continue to be there. The cleaning will have to be paid for. And then the security will have to be paid for. And so they'll get their meters. We know it is a major thing because most of them think that once we get our meters, we can control our bills. Fact. That is without question. But then we also want to keep them in mind that there are other bills that will come along. Because the common area usage will be paid. It's like the street light at home. Some of us, we all pay street lights. In fact, everybody in Ghana pays street lights. And it doesn't matter whether you have a street pole in front of your community or not. You pay street light. That's what we have as a common area billing, which is once you enter the market and you've not entered your shop, you walk through lights before you get to your shop. Somebody needs to pay for that. The state cannot do that. The KMA cannot do that. KCML, Kumasi City Market Limited company, cannot do that for gratis. The bills have been earned. We've incurred those expenses. We need to address them. We need to pay for them. And so, among these issues raised by our colleagues, management has not folded its arms, sitting back to say we don't care. Indeed, we care so much. We've been working fast. I can show you letters where we've engaged the contractor, we've spoken, we've written to those who matter. so that we can move things at a certain fast pace. But you can only go as fast as the law allows you to. You cannot run as fast as you want because you want to achieve something, and so doing you break the law. No, or you truncate the process. If you truncate the process, you have questions to answer. And we want to follow due process. It's very, very important. In a part of the world, most of the time we don't follow due process. Then it becomes a challenge for us tomorrow. We will get things done. We'll get them done right. But we'll follow due process to get them done. That the day the rains came in 2 weeks ago, management, we were here. We were here. We went through the rain. We went to observe the challenges. And that is why I told you that the drains around Kejetia Market are in choked. And you can verify they are free. But it is the collection and the volume of water that was coming from the streets that went over and entered some of the shops. Now we also realize that before you enter the market, most of the entrances had concrete slabs. We've observed that. What amount of water, what amount of volume of water can go through the little holes within the concrete slabs? So we've advised in our report to the contractor that we request that they look at changing the concrete slabs and get us metal grills. With the metal grills, the water just comes in, it drops into the drainage and it runs out. Whilst we work internally to ensure that our internal drains are also free. Yes, they talked about leakages of roofs. Yes, that is a statement of fact. There are some roofs areas that are leaking. We've engaged a contractor on it, and we know he's addressing them. And because the rains have started, we were on the spot on that day. So we took pictures of the leakages that were coming from them so that we can advise the contractor, because you wouldn't be able to see those things in the dry season. You can only know of them. Structures are put up new. You know when Terminal 3 was put up new? Yeah. The first rains that came, now what happened? The whole place was flooded. But rains have come subsequently. Have you seen any floods there? They've been addressed. So these issues are work in progress, which will be addressed.
Yeah, they also talk about...
Talking about an automatic rescue device. Yes. It's a product that should have been in by now. There was a challenge. You know, COVID affected a lot of things. Not to provide an excuse for the contractor, but COVID did. Factories, among others, were not operating at optimal levels. And so bringing this product in became an issue. You know, this company, the structure was put up by a Brazilian company, contractor. And we know what COVID is doing to Brazil even today. This morning, as at yesterday night this morning, they are losing about 3,200 lives. This morning. So assuming factory hands are there, factories have been shut down. And so it has affected production of some of these issues. But that is why now we have personnel there to ensure that these challenges are addressed. They are human.
What about education? Have you educated them? Are they aware? Are the traders, the executives are aware that you have people who are manning the place and ensure that you go through safely?
We have. In fact, every process of our engagement has been open and transparent. We let them know at point A, point 1, point 2. Well, in fact, we were supposed to have met these executives, our colleague executives, yesterday, before today's engagement with the press. Unfortunately, I think there was miscommunication, so we couldn't get them to sit. Otherwise, most of the issues they raised, you see our responses. Our responses are here. They are not creations of now. If you look at the days of the letters, some of them are in February, some of them are first week in March, among others. So they are not things that we created because we were going to have the press conference. We didn't know. It came in late to our attention, but we immediately told them that most of these issues that you are raising, management is on top of them, and management is ready to engage. Open, transparent management is what we are having here. We are not lording it over anybody. No, we say that we are common stakeholders. Let's engage. At the end of the day, Kejetia should stand out. It must stand out. We don't have any option. We have phase 2 to deal with. We should get it right here. We get it right here, it will only dovetail into the phase 2. And it becomes a plus for management, a plus for the leaders, and the bigger plus for the Kumasi metropolis. That is what we have for everybody. Thank you very much. To the meeting, I called them that after their prayers today, this afternoon we want to meet them. We conveyed that information to them yesterday. After they've told us that they couldn't come for the meeting yesterday, we said, fine, today we are okay. We had wanted to even meet them before the meeting because the information that we just gave to you, we could have given it to them and they would have been able to address some of their issues, or they may have taken some of the issues that they put in their press, isn't it? Yes, But it happened that I think they were charged so much that they think the press must come on no matter what. We're going to engage them. With a 2 weeks ultimatum, we are here with them. It's a family discussion. We believe when we get there, the ultimatum, we'll drop the ultimatum. We will get to resolutions. Resolutions not in terms of passing an English language and signing, but the resolution to bring satisfaction to them and to the market. Because when clients are coming in, they must feel good that they are coming to trade in a good place. When you leave home and you are coming, you should know that, look, I've come to a good place, I've come to do business at Kejetia, and I'm going back better. So that I can recommend to the next person, Kejetia is good, let's go and do business there. And so that is what we have for them. And we have for the greater Kumasi City. And we want to assure our overlord, we want to assure Ohene, we want to assure Duffuor that management will work very hard to ensure that his dream, this was his dream. It wasn't somebody's dream. It was his dream. And the phase 2, phase 3 are his dreams. We're going to work to ensure that that dream doesn't just a nice edifice that is being mismanaged, but its actualization as a physical structure is met by competent management, such that when he says to talk about Kumasi City Market Limited, he knows what he dreamt has become a reality in its totality. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
God bless us all.